They called it the gay cowboy movie. But in truth, Brokeback Mountain was far more than that. It was a raw, emotional story of love, repression, and loss, set against the unforgiving backdrop of the American West. Released in 2005 and directed by Ang Lee, the film dared to tell a story that Hollywood had avoided for decades. It shattered stereotypes, challenged cultural norms, and left audiences around the world questioning why two people in love should be forced into silence. Yet despite critical acclaim, standing ovations, and even 3 Academy Awards, Brokeback Mountain sparked backlash. Some praised it as one of the most important films of its generation, while others called it dangerous, immoral, or even banned it entirely. This is the story of how Brokeback Mountain changed cinema forever. At the heart of Brokeback Mountain were 2 unforgettable performances. Heath Ledger portrayed Ennis Del Mar, a quiet, reserved ranch hand whose stoicism masked a lifetime of pain. Ledger's performance was haunting, capturing both the strength and the fragility of a man torn between duty and desire. Opposite him was Jake Gyllenhaal as Jack Twist, the more open, dream-chasing rodeo cowboy whose vulnerability contrasted with Ennis's restraint. Together, they created one of the most emotionally powerful romances in modern film. But it wasn't just the leads who carried the story. Michelle Williams, who played Alma, Ennis's wife, delivered a heartbreaking performance of a woman trapped in a marriage poisoned by secrets. Anne Hathaway, as Jack's wife, Lorene, added another layer, portraying the clash between societal expectations and personal truth. And behind the camera, Ang Lee's delicate direction, Gustavo Santaolala's Oscar-winning score, and Annie Proulx's original short story combined to create something unforgettable. This wasn't just casting, it was destiny. In Wyoming in 1963, cowboys Ennis Del Mar and Jack Twist are hired by rancher Joe Aguirre to herd his sheep through the summer on grazing pastures on Brokeback Mountain. After a night of heavy drinking, Jack makes a pass at Ennis. While initially reluctant, Ennis becomes receptive, and he and Jack have sex in their tent. Despite Ennis telling Jack that it was a one-time incident, they develop a sexual and emotional relationship. Near the end of their work contract, Ennis and Jack have a brawl that leaves both of them bloodied. Before parting ways, Ennis offhandedly laments that he left one of his shirts on the mountain. Ennis marries his longtime fiancée, Alma Beers, and they have 2 daughters, Alma, Jr., and Jenny. Jack returns the next summer seeking work, but Aguirre, who observed Jack and Ennis engaging in homosexual activity on the mountain, tells him he has no work for guys who stem the rows. Jack moves to Texas, where he meets rodeo rider Lorene Newsom, the daughter of a wealthy agricultural machinery manufacturer. They marry and have a son. After 4 years apart, Jack visits Ennis. Upon meeting, they kiss passionately, which a stunned Alma inadvertently sees. At a motel room, Jack wants them to create a life together, but Ennis refuses to abandon his family and is haunted by a childhood memory of his father, showing him the body of a man who was tortured and killed for suspected homosexuality. Ennis and Jack meet infrequently for private fishing trips while their respective marriages deteriorate. Lorene abandons the rodeo and goes into business with her father, with Jack working in sales. Lorene's father has a strong dislike for Jack and openly disrespects and belittles him. Alma and Ennis divorce in 1975. Upon hearing about it, Jack drives to Wyoming and tells Ennis that they should live together, but Ennis refuses to move away from his children. Alma takes custody of Alma Jr. and Jenny and marries Monroe, manager of the grocery store where she works. Ennis is invited to Thanksgiving dinner. While alone in the kitchen, Alma confronts Ennis about Jack. The two spar, causing Ennis to storm out and seize contact with Alma. Ennis has a brief romantic relationship with Cassie, a waitress. Jack and Lorene befriend Randall and LaShawn Malone, and it is implied that Jack and Randall have a brief affair. At the end of a tryst, disguised as a fishing trip, Ennis says he cannot see Jack again for months due to work demands. The pair argue before Jack embraces a crying Ennis. A postcard Ennis sent Jack is returned, stamped with deceased. Ennis calls Jack's phone number. Lorene answers and says Jack died when a car tire exploded in his face. While hearing what happened, Ennis envisions men fatally beating Jack with a tire iron. Lorene says Jack requested his ashes be scattered on Brokeback Mountain. Ennis visits Jack's parents, hoping to carry out his wish. Jack's father declares that Jack's ashes will be interred in a family plot. Jack's mother allows Ennis to visit Jack's old bedroom. Ennis finds the shirt he thought he left on the mountain, which Jack had secretly kept, nested inside one of Jack's shirts. Ennis embraces the shirts and silently weeps. Jack's mother allows him to keep them. Years later, an aging Ennis lives alone and reclusive in a trailer. His grown daughter, Alma Jr., visits him to announce her engagement to Kurt, who works in the oil fields. She asks for her father's blessing and invites him to the wedding. Ennis hesitates to come due to upcoming work commitments, then agrees to attend the wedding. As Alma Jr. leaves, she forgets her jacket, so Ennis puts it into the closet where the two shirts hang, Jack's shirt now inside Ennis's. Next to them, tacked to the closet door, is a postcard of Brokeback Mountain. With tears in his eyes, he stares at the mementos and says, "Jack, I swear." But with a story so daring, controversy was inevitable. While many countries celebrated the film's bravery, others recoiled. In the United States, conservative groups boycotted screenings, calling it immoral and offensive to family values. In regions of the South and Midwest, some theaters outright refused to show it. Overseas, the backlash was harsher. In countries like China and several Middle Eastern nations, Brokeback Mountain was outright banned, censored for its homosexual themes. Even in Italy and Poland, church groups rallied against the film, warning audiences to stay away. Yet the bans only fueled curiosity. Pirated copies spread, underground screenings multiplied, and Brokeback Mountain became more than a movie. It became an act of resistance. A story too human, too emotional to be silenced. Nearly 2 decades later, the legacy of Brokeback Mountain still echoes. It proved that LGBTQ+ stories could be mainstream, powerful, and critically acclaimed. It earned $178 million worldwide, a groundbreaking achievement for a film once dismissed as niche. It won 3 Academy Awards, including Best Director for Ang Lee, yet famously lost Best Picture to Crash, a decision still debated as one of the Oscars' biggest controversies. But beyond awards, the film changed lives. For many, It was the first time they saw a same-sex love story portrayed with tenderness instead of ridicule. It inspired future filmmakers to tell bolder stories, opening the door for films like Call Me by Your Name and Moonlight. And for fans, the line, "I wish I knew how to quit you," became more than a quote, it became a symbol of love, denied by prejudice. Even today, Brokeback Mountain remains a cultural touchstone, a reminder that love is universal, no matter how hard society tries to silence it. Brokeback Mountain wasn't just a movie. It was a revolution wrapped in a love story. It was banned, boycotted, and condemned, yet it triumphed. It gave voice to the voiceless, shined light on hidden struggles, and proved that cinema has the power to challenge hearts and minds. Two cowboys on a lonely mountain ended up rewriting film history. And while Heath Ledger is no longer with us, his performance ensures that the story of Ennis and Jack will never be forgotten. Because love, no matter where it exists, deserves to be seen. Follow for more stories of the world's most controversial, banned, and unforgettable films